Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about what the point of a movie is and why you should why watching them in the first place. So what is the point of a movie? What do you think?
Well, the point of a movie is story, which if you don't have a story, you don't have anything. And stories go all the way back to the beginning of time. We've told them orally, we've written them down, we have now recorded them literally with cameras and with audio devices. But now we get to see them on the big screen.
You said in the beginning that movies are about stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're not about entertainment?
Well, a story can be entertaining.
Story can be entertaining. Okay.
Usually they are entertaining.
Right.
So yeah, entertainment is part of it.
But it's mainly about the good story. That's what really grabs people and makes them want to stay and continue watching. Because if it looks nice, that's great. But if it doesn't really resound with you on the inside, like you start to connect with the main character, want to see him progress and improve, you're not going to stay and watch the rest. Like what Brandon Sanderson says. Now, our next question here is, what made movies great in the past? What made those so good that you had to watch the next one?
Well, yeah, to make a great story, it has to have meaning in it. So I'd say definitely meaning, and then when you have meaning, you can therefore create emotion in the viewers. But with creating emotion, as in, not the negative one where you're like, this is really dumb, but that does happen too. I have watched movies where the emotions I'm getting is just, this is so awful. And then you're laughing at it because it's so awful. So, that can happen, and there are those movies. But the goal is to get emotions where you're like crying, or you're happy with the characters, or you're also sad and angry for them. It's more of like on their behalf. So it's that connection thing, once again. Getting your audience to feel those emotions towards it will actually move them. But then furthermore is to have morals into it. So the lesson that's learned. If you don't have a lesson that's learned, it feels pointless.
Yep. I like that you bring up morals because that's something that we're kind of losing nowadays, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
If you have a main character who does nothing, who doesn't push himself to try for something greater. I know that there is a anime that I've seen that's called My Hero Academia. And it's a perfect demonstration of a person who strives to be better. Mm-hmm. What would it be like in that show if you completely remove his want to even improve? It's just a guy doing stuff, but he doesn't have a reason for doing it. So then you can't really connect with the guy, and he's not pushing himself. It takes the story out of it when you remove his morals, especially. Dude in My Hero Academia, Deku, wants to be a hero, and he wants to save people. He's probably like the most heroic one inside the entire show because of his selflessness, his pure selflessness. And that's the moral of the story, is selflessness. Mm-hmm. But you take that away, or you have evil replace it, and it's just going to make the audience feel sick. And they're not gonna really want to stay. And those who do, you gotta watch out for, because they're weird. No offense, but know what I'm saying? Imagine a person stays, it's well, pointless movie.
Except, as we had talked about with Dune, at the end of it, it gives you that unsettled, disgusted feeling. So that actually can be useful, because, as I said with I've talked about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Right, is a perfect example.
So this is the anti-hero. Mm-hmm. And that story can be very powerful, because now you gotta be careful though when writing these. What I've seen with Maleficent, it's like giving excuses for the bad guy. Right. But that's not the anti-hero. Mm-hmm. The anti-hero is bad, and you see they're bad, and you do not agree with the bad. Right. You want them to do better, and you're hoping they will do better. You're like, you could just, for once, you could do something good. And then they don't, and you're like,
and
no!
You're left frustrated, tearing your hair out because you're expecting, and then you're waiting for the next moment, and it never happens.
Right. Yeah, that's how you do an anti-hero. And then when you're watching this or reading this, what it evokes in you is, am I like this? That's what I love, is when a story can make you ask the question, what would I do in this situation?
Brandon Sanderson, a renowned writer, actually mentions this. He says, the job of a storyteller is to give the audience questions. And I love that, because that is the point. It's to give the audience a question. Am I doing as well as I could? That's, again, I'm going to bring it up. I know I've already brought it up. My Hero Academia. I'm gonna be honest. That actually encouraged me to start working out. Yeah, it's lame. Yeah, I know. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I started working out mainly because of that show. It encouraged me to want to push my limits because I don't like who likes pain. Whoever does, you weird.
You might have problems.
Well, I mean,
You need help.
There's the pain that helps you grow, and that's what I'm starting to understand as I love working out now. Is that pain is a reminder of like the future version of myself that I see that I could be, and it makes me want to do better just from that show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It encouraged
they can
me.
encourage you. They can motivate you.
Right.
They can make you want to change, to do better. And that's the great thing about stories.
And
they have that power.
The interesting thing about the villain too is he's like the version that you avoid.
Exactly.
He's the one that you're like, okay, so there's two versions. There's the one that does well.
You want to be like them, the hero.
The hero is usually like the mirror version of the villain, and the villain, he went down a dark way.
Yeah.
Why?
Shazam is a really good example of that. I love that. So in Shazam, the main character, he was abandoned by his mother. All right. Literally.
Exactly.
She just abandoned him. And you see how he turns out. You know, he gets this family, and he wants to protect them. And he's not this horrible, evil, I want to destroy everybody kind of person. No. He wants to help people. You know, and, well, he might want to also look good doing it.
That's the thing, is that heroes
But-
have flaws.
Yeah,
Everyone has a flaw.
exactly.
A person who's perfect doesn't feel human. That's another thing with stories, is if the
Yes.
main character is too good or just too...
There's just nothing you can really... There's
No,
nothing about them.
There's no flaw.
Like in Wish, the main character in Wish, Asha, she has just... she's bland. She just...
Right.
Her flaw is that she wants to help people. She's too caring.
That's
That's what they say.
That's a flaw.
I know,
You
exactly.
mean, like... Wait, like in it, like overabundance of innocence, of
It was dumb. But anyway,
ignorance.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
But the thing is...
wish you bad.
But the thing is, that's not a flaw. Caring too much. No. If you give them actual flaws, you know, you have Moana. Okay, she has flaws. Right?
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't listen to people. She just she's the I'm gonna go do this hero. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm
she's
just
the eager
yeah,
hero
that's
is what it's called.
The eager hero.
in
Yeah, that's
story
what.
writing.
Yeah, the eager hero. And so she goes into everything head first, and then realizes,
Not prepared.
there's a price for this. I didn't
Yep.
realize. And then she has to decide if she's going to go forward, which she does.
Hmm.
But having actual flaws with your character, we all have flaws. That's human beings. And if people don't have flaws, if you can't see flaws in people, that's scary. Because
Very
they're not
much.
showing
That's
any of their flaws.
That's really skeptical, because you've either found like a gem or a diamond in the rough that is just so gleamless, but that doesn't happen. It's just a fake gem at that point.
So you're not
Where's
actually
the crust?
seeing... No, you're not actually seeing
Where's
them.
the flaw of the diamond, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why the trope enemies to lovers is such a famous one, because in that trope, the characters are horrible to each other. Usually, they're just their meanest selves, and
Right.
then they get to realize, oh, hey, you know, we're actually kind of similar, and I don't, you know, you're not actually that kind of bad of a person, and they get closer, and like so they've seen the other person at their worst.
Right. Exactly.
So
That's an
there's only
advantage.
good past that point, usually, you know, and so that's why that trope has a lot of people who like it, because you see the worst in that person, then you get to see the best of them afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing you had brought up that I love is the cost that the hero goes through. If you have a hero that does not lose something,
Right.
it does not show the audience how much it's worth. For example, man, I'm trying to think of an example. Nothing's coming to mind. What's a good example of a person who gives How to Train Your Dragon? I can't believe I forgot his name. He's the main Hiccup.
Hiccup?
I'm so
he
sorry.
loses his leg.
He loses his leg.
Yeah.
He loses respect from his tribe. He had everything in movie one. I'm talking about the movies, not the books. Books are great too, but
Read the books.
read the book, please. They're great. Better than the movies, in my opinion. Well, I don't know.
I
better.
like them both.
They're so
equally.
good. Regardless.
I can't pick between them.
Point being, they go through pain and agony, and it shows you how much it's worth. And you're like, so it's not easy being good, or striving morally, or
Well,
doing what's right. It's gonna hurt, and you're gonna pay the price.
no. Something I love this one quote that I don't know if it was a math teacher or an English teacher, who said that you're going to be punished for doing what's right. That's what's going to happen in life. Just expect that and be willing to take the price for doing what's right. Which is, it's like, that's wrong, right? But that's the world. It's
Life's not fair. Anywho, moving on to our next question before we're running out of time. Why have we drifted away from that version of movies? We've talked about what movies are. What makes a great movie is a story. It's a hero who's giving it his all, who's striving, who's in pain, and agony, showing the audience what it's worth.
Well,
why have we drifted from that? Like, what's changed? Especially with Disney nowadays.
Right. Multiple factors here. First, we're going to talk about money. All right.
Money, money, money. We love that stuff.
If you can just get something out there, and get people to watch it, especially if you have previous movies made before and people love the franchise, then you just keep on throwing out stories. You see that with Frozen. Frozen 2 was not as great as the first one. If they can just throw stories or movies out there, get people to watch them, get money from it.
Do the bare minimum.
Boom, they're just getting rich, and they don't care anymore,
Right.
So there's that. They just want to get money. And then there's also, for some reason, pandering to the minority. So with all the woke agenda stuff.
Right.
Right, that's there, okay? If you don't see it, I don't know how to help you, but it's there. You can see it with all the Disney movies that are being made. If you've ever watched the live action of Peter Pan, it's actually the Wendy movie. What am I thinking?
It is. No, she mainly does everything.
It is.
Yeah,
and
completely.
So all this stuff, okay, the majority of citizens in America are not a part of the woke agenda stuff.
Right.
All right. That's a minority.
Right.
So it really doesn't make sense from a business perspective for them to focus on those people, but they do it anyway. I don't understand that.
I think it's because they have the loudest voices. That's just me on the outside. They have the loudest voices, and they're heard more often. Kind of like that bird.
Because they're the ones who bother to say anything.
Right.
Whereas we're just going about our days working.
Whoa, that's a low blow. Come on, they work too.
No,
I meant too. Okay, that sounded
I didn't mean that.
wrong. We're running out of time.
Okay.
So pushing agendas, pushing political views,
and trying to make money quickly.
Trying to make money quickly. You're not focused on pushing out a story to grip the audience, to show them a better version of themselves, a future version, such as My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Or How to Train Your Dragon, friendship and what it's worth.
They cut corners, and the corners they're cutting are the stories, all the meaning,
and it makes
morals.
Honestly, I started watching movies from other countries.
That's what I did.
They're better. They just have a better story.
And I don't have to worry about our politics getting shoved in my face because it's a different country. They have their own politics.
They got their own problems. Anywho, next question is, how can we make these movies great? How can Disney make these movies great?
Okay. Well, I don't know if Disney can be helped at this point. Disney would have to do a whole 180. Or just turn around completely. Because
go back to focusing on stories and not on politics?
They would need to get directors who actually care. Who want to tell good stories.
That's a blow to those directors. You're not wrong, though, because it shows in the product that they're making. I honestly, when I saw the trailer for Mandalorian, I thought it was a YouTube, fan film. I didn't think it was an actual production because of the sloppiness of the filmography. It was so...
Yeah, wonky. It was just,
no offense, it was just not good.
It was beginner.
Yeah, I felt like I was just watching a fan film at that point.
Yeah, that was sad. But you see that in Wish. Just going to use that as an example right now because that's a new movie. In Wish, that movie had been planned out for a long time. And I had been so hyped for it for years. I was like, oh, this sounds so cool. I only heard snippets of it, but I really liked the idea of them using this movie, taking the whole wishing concept of Disney, Wish Upon a Star, and connecting the Disney movies basically in a way.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was
that is cool.
I was so excited.
They didn't do that, did they?
They failed, yes. But the thing is, they had a great story. They had a great story.
Had? Past tense means they don't have it anymore.
Yes.
What happened?
So, the original story, the rough drafts that they had, the star, which you see in the trailer if you've ever watched it, which is now just this cute plushy star thing, was originally going to be a star boy. And there was going to be romance. between him and Asha, and they stole that from us.
What?
They took it away.
What did they change it
Because
with?
they're allergic to romance now. I don't know.
That's facts.
Yeah.
It's like they're scared to say, hey,
Because it's the whole
guys like girls.
It's the whole girl boss woke thing where they have to make women into men to make us strong, which is so insulting. And so they did that. They took away that story. You can just go on YouTube and look up Wish deleted scene with Starboy.
To wrap it up, the point of the movie is to watch it is for the story. The story is supposed to made movies great in the past. Was the story, and stories were supposed to connect to the audience to want them to become like the hero, and the hero is going to go through trials and tribulations just like we do, and it'll encourage us to still strive for better. And then why we drifted away from that? Politics, agendas,
Money.
pushing money as well. And then how can we make them great again?
Well, we have to go back
By
to
going
the original.
back.
Yeah, go back to the
Revert.
stories.
Go and do a rewind
Don't
right
be
there.
afraid to
Make a story for story's sake.
Yeah, don't be afraid to tell a story that people are not going to agree with. People are going to get mad. Everyone will get
always
mad. If it's going to be something that people will love, there'll be people who hate it.
All great art is hated, as Hoyd says in
Yes.
Stormlight Archive. That's all for today. We have for you. Please like and subscribe so you never miss an upload, and hit that bell so that I totally messed up that sentence there. Hit the bell to not miss the upload. Like so I feel happy, and comment so that we get more views. Oh yeah, baby.
Subscribe if you're crazy.
Or not. You could not be crazy. See you in the next one.